Square Enix has come out with a lot of Final Fantasy games over the years, so much so that it has been broken down into different eras. You've got the old school era with Final Fantasy 1 through Final Fantasy 6, the hybrid era of Final Fantasy 7 through Final Fantasy 12, and the modern era of Final Fantasy 13 onward. Now, whether you want to debate whether the defining lines of the hybrid era are Final Fantasy 12 through, or if it's Final Fantasy 10, you can do that down in the comments. Regardless of where you think that it should be placed, there is a clear pattern. The hybrid era of Final Fantasy, without contention, is where we see the majority of fans getting their start with the Final Fantasy series, including me. But today, we're gonna see just how much we know about the Final Fantasy hybrid era. So today, we have got 2 quizzes about the hybrid era of Final Fantasy. It gives me the option of having it in this like traditional multi-choice format, but I kind of like the time quiz a little bit because I know that these quizzes are a smidge on the easier side, so I'm just gonna throw it on the time quiz, and we'll go from there. To be completely honest, Final Fantasy 7 and 8, that's where my knowledge starts to kind of waver. So we'll see how I do. In Final Fantasy VIII, which 2... Oh god, I don't even remember what these are. Guardian Forces? Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Can you acquire from Squall's computer? Oh god. I don't even think I've beaten Final Fantasy VIII. Oh, but I'm running out of time. I think it's this one. I just gotta throw it in. Correct? Okay! Hey! These 2 Guardian Forces can be acquired very early in the game, and Ifrit is acquired soon afterwards. Siren is also in the game, but it is found later on. Ruma is not in this game, but it is in previous Final Fantasies. Oh, I don't like that spelling. I hate that spelling, actually. Next! In Final Fantasy VII, who is the father of Sephiroth? What are my options? Yeah, it's Hojo. Hojo is his real father. This is because he had an affair with Lucretia, and then he inserted genes into Sephiroth from Jenova to make Sephiroth become what he is. However, it is unclear in the game, as Vincent could also be seen to be the father. I will say, a little hot take, but Final Fantasy VII is one of my least favorite Final Fantasies. I understand how important it is, but I couldn't get behind it. And it's story shit like this, where it's like, no. A funny Final Fantasy is king, I think.
Probably shouldn't laugh anymore.
In Final Fantasy 9, can Aiko use magic? I believe so. It's been a long time since I played, but yes? Yes. Aiko, like Garnet, can summon, therefore she can use magic, and she is only one of the few who is able to do so, along with Vivi, Garnet, Quina, and Beatrix. In Final Fantasy VIII, who completes this trio? Laguna, Kyros, and... I don't know. It's not Squall, because I think this is referring to the soldiers? I don't recognize these names, so I'm just gonna say Ward. Oh! Hey, all right! They are all soldiers together, but they split up, and Ward works in a prison afterwards. Having lost his voice, Laguna meets Kyros again in a village, and they eventually meet up again with Laguna when Laguna is the president of the city. I will say the Final Fantasy VIII story is pretty fuzzy to me. I remember playing it originally when I was a kid and just not connecting with it at all. In Final Fantasy X-2, which character starts off as a warrior? That would be Pain. it's Waka. Okay. Yeah, it's Pain. Pain has a mysterious past, and she is a warrior at the start, but she can change class. Yuna starts off as a gunner, and Riku starts off as a thief. That is true. I do say I think it's the Fashionscapes, Dreamscapes, whatever that job system is, gets a lot of flack, but I really, really liked it. And I like Final Fantasy X-2 a lot. I wish it was more well known, and I wish more people would play it. It definitely has nothing on Final Fantasy X, but Final Fantasy X-2 is still a pretty good game. In Final Fantasy X, Riku is of what species? The Albed. No, the Albed. The Albed. Riku's father is named Cid, and her brother is named Brother. The Ronzo and the Guado are other species, but fiends are just the creatures that the group has to fight. I guess I never made 2 and 2. Is Seymour Guado a Guado, or is that just a coincidence? I'm trying to remember who the Guado even are. Later me, put in a picture of the Guado here. In Final Fantasy VII, who is the final boss? That would be Sephiroth. Sephiroth was trying to summon Meteor to destroy everything, but he was defeated in the final battle. All of the other choices are bosses in the games, but they are not the final boss. True. In Final Fantasy X, Tidus is originally from Kilika. That is... It's not gonna... This isn't a trick question, is it? Balls? He's from Xanarkand, right? Tidus is actually from Xanarkand, 1,000 years in the past. Kilika is a place in the future which is destroyed by sin. Tidus.
Me and Tidus, we are gonna do a little exploring today.
Tidus, therefore, does not know anything about the world that he is in. I think Kilika is the... I might be wrong on this, but I want to say Kilika is the, like, port. Not the port, but, like, the fishing village that gets obliterated. It's the first time you see a Sin really mess up a village, and Yuna does that dance to like send all the spirits off to the afterlife. I want to say that that's Kilika, but that might not be. Next, in Final Fantasy X, which character had previously fought Sin? So this is an interesting. Interesting question, because I would say Auron. If there were different choices here, like Jecht, or I don't actually think they named the other guy in their group, but it was Auron, Jecht, and the other guy that originally were the protectors of the High Summoner. Auron. Braska, that's the other guy. Right. Auron had fought against Sin with Jecht and Braska and had defeated it before. He now joins Yuna and her companions to fight Sin again and to defeat it forever this time. With a really sad ending. Final Fantasy VII, which character has the least amount of limit breaks? Oh my god, this... Alright, Red 13, Kate Sith, Vincent, or Cloud. This is where I was worried it was gonna get granular. I honestly have no idea. I think I remember Vincent having very few limit breaks. So I'm just gonna go with that. Ah! Phew! Damn it! Who was it? Kate Sith has 2 limit breaks, and Vincent only has 4 limit breaks as he turns into a monster for them. Everyone else has 8. Right. Damn. Oh, damn. On the last question. Oh, boy. All right. Well, I think we did well. Next, we have one that covers the full birth of Final Fantasy games from the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2. It looks like potentially Final Fantasy 12 is left out of this, but this has a lot of the remakes built in. So let's get into this one. In Final Fantasy 1, how many characters do you start with? Come on now. You start with 4. All right. The first Final Fantasy game, originally you had 4 people, which is different from the usual 3 that most games today allow. Who the main characters was up to you to pick between thieves, knights, thieves, warriors, I believe, right? It's not knights, but thieves, knights, black mages, white mages, monks, and red mages. Knights are good attackers with all right defense. Monks are great for attacking, but have little defense. White mages mainly fight with white magic, which realistically, they don't fight with white magic at all. There's I think 2 or 3, maybe just 2 spells in Final Fantasy 1 that they can actually attack with. The black mages relied on black magic. The red mages were very special. They were okay for attacking, had okay defense, and could use both black and white magic. Of course, lastly, the thieves were very speedy. Unfortunately, in the original releases of Final Fantasy 1, the thieves were relatively worthless because the luck stat meant nothing. In Final Fantasy 2, what is the highest level you can get? That sounds like a trick question because as you go through Final Fantasy 2, the way that it works is you're leveling up your specific abilities. So any character could be anything. You could train them to be whatever you want because they start they start in a direction, but they start as a blank slate. Now, I'm thinking this means actual levels, which are not a thing. So we're going to go with you don't level up. All right. This made the game a fun challenge. You only get stats randomly after battle, but there are many ways to manipulate the random increase. A way to gain a lot of HP quick is to fight weak monsters. When fighting them, weaken the character you want to gain XP. Yeah, so essentially, the remake, or the Pixel remasters that came out recently fixed this, and they made it less dumb. But essentially what you did is you went out into battle, you had monsters beat the snot out of you until you were almost dead, and then you kill them, and then that's how you gain HP. Problem was if you die, all of that goes to waste. So you have to take damage without dying to gain HP. This is very similar to how it works in Final Fantasy Legend and Final Fantasy Legend 2. The only difference with Final Fantasy Legend 2 is there's no way that you can fudge it. It's just completely random for the humans and the mutants. So if you're playing that game, make sure to choose a team with all monsters or all robots. If you play it, you'll know what I mean. In Final Fantasy Legend 4, what are the 2 jobs that Cecil gains? This is very topical because I am going through Final Fantasy 4 right now. And if you haven't already, come check me out on Twitch. I'm currently going through every single Final Fantasy game ever released. Yes, every single one. Like 150 of them. So come check it out. Anyway, this is Dark Knight and White Knight. Oh, that feels bad. Was it Dark Knight and Paladin? Oh, that feels bad. Okay, Cecil started the game at level 10 as a Dark Knight. Later, after a boss fight with Millen, followed by a trick 1-on-1 fight with a new Paladin, Cecil versus the old Dark Knight Cecil. Cecil stays a Paladin, wanting to right his wrongs as a Paladin, but goes down to level 1. Final Fantasy VII, which 2 weapons are a part of the American version only? Ooh. I don't know anything about the Japanese exclusive, and I don't know what we got as a bonus for the American version. Wow. I'm just gonna go Diamond and Emerald and hope for the best. Believe it or not, the Ruby and Emerald weapons are only in the American version. The translators were running behind their schedule, and the game had to be released a month early, so they took out most of the Eris reviving side quests. If you are an expert RPG player and pay very close attention throughout the game, you'll find bits and pieces of info like hints to the fact that Eris could be revived, and added the 2 side bosses, Emerald and Ruby. In Final Fantasy VIII, name the only main character, aka anyone who has joined Squall's party, who didn't meet the gang from Ada's orphanage. Wow. That's a tough one. I don't know much about the Final Fantasy VIII story. I just know that I wasn't a fan of it when I first played it. But I was also 12, somewhere in there. So, I mean, I was young when I played it first time, so... I think Zell? I think Zell's towards the end of the game? No. Riona was the only one that wasn't an orphan. The gang finds this out later in the 3rd disc that they were all in Ada's orphanage, and only Irvine remembers because he hasn't had much GF usage. Guardian Force? The GF drained the party of their memories. In Final Fantasy IX, which is correct? What is the correct term for the summons? Aeons, summons, Esper, Eidolons. So Eidolons are in Final Fantasy IV. Aeons are in Final Fantasy X. So I'm gonna go with Esper, but I thought Esper was in Final Fantasy VI. And it might reuse one of these two, but I don't remember Eidolons being a thing then, and Aeons I think were in Final Fantasy X exclusively. So, Esper. Esper is the term for Final Fantasy VI, okay. Aeons is the term for Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2. And of course, lastly, the term Eidolons is the term for Final Fantasy IX. So Eidolons was used in Final Fantasy IV and in Final Fantasy IX? But it shakes it up along the way? Crazy to me. That's crazy to me. Okay, whatever. In Final Fantasy X, near the end of the game, you find out that Tidus was made by the Faith to help Yuna, but he wasn't the only one with a secret. Who told Tita that he was in fact dead? I want to say it was Auron, because Auron told Tidus a lot of shit in that game, but it could also be Lulu, because she is like the Black Mage and she knows things. I think it's Auron, though. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay. Auron told Tidus this late in the game. At the end of the game, when Yuna had to do the final sending, Tidus and Auron were reunited with Jack as they head off to the far plane. Note, at one point in time, Tidus and Jack were real, but brought back by the Faith as a dream to help Yuna. So this is an interesting point. I've never beaten Final Fantasy X-2. And I know a major plot point in that is them trying to figure out, because they see a data sphere that has image of like a crazed Tidus in a cell somewhere. That's like at the very beginning of the game. But I feel like it's not referenced till towards the end or like the middle part of the game, which I haven't gotten too far into. So, in Final Fantasy X-2, the first game's sequel, a new person is added to the group of friends, Pain. Who was her closest friends in the past? I know it isn't She Had No Friends, because that would be just too edgy. It's not Tidus, Auron, and Jack. That would be crazy, but I don't think it's that. If it is, that's a big spoiler for me. It's not Brother, Buddy, and Sid. I'm gonna go with Gipal, Naj, and Barlai, because their names are sticking out to me right now. Yeah! Pain's past in the beginning of the game is a complete mystery. As you go through the game, tiny bits and pieces of Pain's past are exposed. The Crimson Records were all recorded by Pain, and later when you have all 9 of them, you enter the Den of Woe, which wraps up all the details about the Faith. Then at the Far Plains, when Pain meets back up with her friends, all is explained. Oh, okay. In Final Fantasy Tactics, there are 6 hidden characters. One of them is from a previous Final Fantasy. Who is it? I want to say it's Cloud. But I'm not 100%. I think I remember Cloud being able to be... Because I think you get Cloud... Actually, yeah, it's definitely Cloud. Yeah, that's right. There's a huge side quest to go get Cloud, which all depends on if you bought a flower from Eris in Chapter 4. This is done, then after a few side quests, you'll acquire Cloud. Eris is in the game, but you don't get her. Note 2, you must have Mustito alive and in your party to get the hidden characters. In the game made by both Square Enix and Disney called Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy characters play a role in the storyline. Most of the characters you can fight in many different places. But there are only 2 who never fight. Who from this list doesn't fight? Eris and Yuffie. Boom! Eris never fights at all in the game. Neither does Sid, but he runs the item shop. Thanks for playing. Wow. Okay. I have to say, I think I could have Oh, wait a minute. I forgot about the middle section of this quiz. Oh, wow. Okay. So, I mean, okay. I could have had 70%. I could have gotten this one, right? The Final Fantasy IV, what jobs? I did White Knight instead of Paladin. It's fine, okay? I wouldn't have gotten this one, I don't think. The American-only version, there's no way. Final Fantasy VIII, the only main character, blah, 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 blah. Not getting that. And the Final Fantasy IX one was genuinely surprising. It's been a while since I played. I'm going through this list of Final Fantasy games, so over time, I'm slowly playing through these Final Fantasy games again. But a lot of the like hybrid to later games, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. But yeah, that was our quizzes on Final Fantasy's hybrid era. Let me know how you did in the comments below. I'm really curious to see if the questions that I didn't get, other people were able to get. And let me know what questions surprised you. There were a couple in here that definitely gave me new information about the Final Fantasy series and made me excited to continue on the path, going through every Final Fantasy game ever released. But thank you guys so much for watching. See you later.